Alright, you just got a letter telling you that you got an overpayment, you filed a request for reconsideration, and you want to know what can you file back with them so that you don't have to pay it back. Okay. Okay, this is going to sound funky, but follow along with me. First thing you need to do is you need to contact Social Security and ask them what options you have available to you for purposes of getting rid of the overpayment. The most common one is a waiver, because here's where overpayments kick in. Overpayments typically kick in when Social Security makes a determination that there was money they paid you that they shouldn't have paid you. Now, the most common thing that people do for argument purposes is arguing, and there is an argument in here, is if you can demonstrate that receipt of that money was of no fault of your own. So to answer your question is, can you demonstrate that the receipt of the money was no fault of your own? Meaning Social Security screwed that up. Now, listen carefully when I say this. Just because you think Social Security should have caught this is not enough to say it's their fault. Just because you perceive that they should have caught this is not enough. And just because you mentioned it, ooh, bad English. Just because you may have contacted them one time and they still kept paying you and you kept taking the money, that is not going to be enough. Okay? You've got to be able to tell them specifically what exactly did they do that was their fault in you getting this money. Because this is what happens a lot of times. And this is where I've represented a few people in overpayment cases. And I always ask the magical question. This is how it plays out. Follow me here. Hi, what happened? Social Security said I owe them $20,000. Okay, how did that happen? Well, for the months of this month through here, they were, from this month to this month, they weren't supposed to pay me. Okay, did you know that you weren't supposed to get that money? Well, yeah, I told them I had started working. So you started working, you kept getting money. Yes. Did you return the checks? Well, no. Strike one. Did you contact them again and tell them they were still sending you money? Well, no. Strike two. And more importantly, if you knew that you had the money and you weren't supposed to get it, did you spend it? Well, yeah. Strike three. Now, see, now here it is. You knew that you weren't supposed to get the money, but yet you didn't contact them again to tell them to stop. You knew the money wasn't supposed to come for you, so you didn't put the money in like a bank account or a savings account to give back to them. You kept taking the money, and now you want to say, well, they shouldn't have given it to me. No, it doesn't work out like that. Or you'll have someone where they'll say that during this particular period of time, oh, I got a big lump sum, I just didn't tell Social Security. Wrong answer. And I tell people all the time, this is not trying to be funny. Social Security is not the enemy. They're not. So when something happens in your circumstances that you believe they should know, stop trying to run dirty and keep information to yourself, because overpayments usually happen because something happens in that individual's life or something happened that occurred that Social Security made a determination that you shouldn't have been getting money during that time period. Most people I've run across know what those circumstances are. And I always tell people it's very hard to get an overpayment overturned based on fault of the Social Security. The biggest thing you could try to go for is either a waiver or a reduction based on frustration of Title II or Title 16. What you're basically telling them is, listen, the amount of money I'm getting from disability right now, I'm on a fixed income, and if you adjust that to take the money back for overpayment, you're going to devastate me. So now that's probably your best one. But if you're trying to get out of it all together, the two things, a waiver, or you can demonstrate, ask them to tell them that Social Security was the reason why they screwed this up for you. That is really hard to do. So keep that in the back of your mind.